Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my Enigman Storm Dimension Police deck. So I feel right now Dimension Police are pretty fun to play actually if you actually manage to pull a bunch of Laurels like I did. So I got lucky and pulled like 4 Laurels on the first day of the event. So I thought, okay, you know what, 4 Laurels, we got to make the deck. So I also pulled 4 of the Cosmo Beak pretty early and like 3 of the Enigman Storm, so I only had to craft like 1. So this is the deck. Dimension or Dayusha is kind of not necessary. If you take Dayusha out, then you can run like you run more of the Enigman Rain and Miracle Beauty, and then you could like swap the crits for stands, and the deck would be a more interesting deck, I would feel. But definitely this build, it puts a lot of work in. It does pretty good actually overall, mainly because of the 4 Laurels. I think probably the worst matchup is Kagero because of the ability of Berserk Dragon to retire. I mean, they just have a lot of ways of sniping your back row, and if Laurel dies, then the deck kind of dies with it. But let's get into it. So for grade 3s, you gotta run 4 Enigman Storm. The Ride Chain is the way to go. It's better than Super Dimensional Dayusha, mainly because if you have the grade 2 in Soul, it's an 11k. And because this is a Type 1 Ride Chain, just a quick note on the Ride Chain, you can run 4 or 3 of this and it'll be fine, but because it's a Type 1 Ride Chain, you really just want to mulligan to make sure you have the grade 1 in your opening hand, because as long as you have the grade 1 Enigman Ripple in your opening hand, you're guaranteed to get the grade 2. So you don't need to run like 4 copies of the grade 2. Now I understand that for max consistency, like to enable yourself to ride the grade 2, 3 or 4 would be better, just because that helps you ensure that you have the 11k Vanguard body, which is mainly one of the primary reasons why Enigman Storm is relevant right now. But I feel like with 4 of it, the deck becomes, the grade 2 lineup just becomes too cloggy with Enigman Wave that doesn't do anything later in the game. I'd much rather run stuff like Grander or Die Lady or Cosmo Beak. You know, these cards actually enable you to do stuff. So yeah, but yeah, I could definitely understand the argument for running like 3 or 4 of this. In fact, my original build was running 4 of it. I mean, the only thing I could think of if I wanted to run 3 is to drop Grander. But if you notice, the deck focuses more on luck sack of like triggers, because I don't run a whole lot of Cosmo Roar, so we're not going to be able to like rest 2 of them and then, you know, be at the 15. So it relies more on Laurel being able to restand him, and if you check a trigger on the first attack, whether you're attacking a rearguard interceptor or the Vanguard, then on the second swing it will have the critical pressure. So that's kind of why I run criticals in here. A lot of people might not agree with this, but I feel like luck sack when the guy doesn't have a PG, and you get a critical while you already have the critical, and being able to deal 3 damage potentially when they don't have the PG. Otherwise you just force the PG out of the hand. Doesn't really matter. But it's pretty good. Like, it has worked out actually. I was trying stands originally, but I feel like the only reason why you want to run stands in here is if you ran Miracle Beauty, and I guess at that point you might as well just run Enigman Rain at max copy and it would be a different deck. So that would be a more refreshing deck to play actually, because this deck basically swings with 1 rearguard unboosted to an interceptor, then it swings Vanguard with nothing boosted, then Laurel rests himself and the other 4 rearguard, or the 3 rearguards to get the restand. So you swing to the Vanguard twice basically, and hope for a trigger or whatever. But that's basically how the deck works. So, you know, it's 4 of the Cosmo grade as the heal. He's definitely required though, because you do want the effect. I mean, his effect works on either Dayusha or Storm. So I mean, sometimes Dayusha will be the main Vanguard, and so, you know, you have a backup besides Storm. Yes, but that's basically it for the grade 3s. If you don't have Dayusha, it's not the end of the world. You're just gonna be playing Miracle Beauty and Enigman Rain, and and in my opinion, that deck is actually a little bit more fun to play as. For grade 2s, we run 1 Grander, not a whole lot of space. And the only thing is to take out the Comrade, but Comrade is just really, really good because the 12k Interceptor is really annoying to deal with. Because, you know, like, even a Brutal Jack can't run this over unless it has a booster, so it's pretty good. As long as you're on Storm as the Vanguard, or this guy, so Wave, same thing. And then we have 4 Die Lady, just to help get that power boost. Cosmo Beak at 4, because, you know, you gotta get that power boost to get the critical. And then for grade 1s, we run 1 Cosmo Roar, because one of him and one of him helps you, you know, get that boost. But mainly the deck relies primarily on Cosmo Beak and Cosmo Grate, or just random triggers going off during the first attack to activate the skill. So it's a little bit inconsistent, but the max Laurel helps a ton at ensuring you get that restand play. And I opted more for the restand style play, so that's why we run 4 Laurel over like this thing. I mean, you could do 3 Laurel and 2 Cosmo Roar, but, you know, I don't know. I just feel like the 4 Laurel, I just want to see the Laurel. It's a better turn 1 ride if you don't get the ride chain either, so it's a 7k, it's just straight up better, in my opinion. And then, of course, the PG, and then the ride chain starter. So that's basically the deck. If you wanted to try a different variant, like I said, I guess I'll show what that would look like. So instead of running Dayusha, you wouldn't run him at all. You would run Enigman Rain and Miracle Beauty. I guess you would probably just run like 3 of each. Oh wait, I guess just 2. Yeah, it'd probably be like this, and then trigger lineup would just be same thing. It would just be 5 draw and 4 crit. Or actually, no. You wouldn't run crits at all. You would run stands. So yeah, it'd be like this. In fact, it could probably be like... No, that's too many. I would just make him the stand, make these draws. So yeah, I would do something like that. So the only thing is you would put in, let's see, would I change anything on the grade 2 lineup? No. Not really. There's really nothing to change. I'd just keep the Laurel. So it would look like this. So this would be a modified version where you focus more on like the restand plays. Because with this, you could potentially get more attacks in. So you could push more offensively in the later half of the game. But I don't know. I like the crits because it just... Like, there have been times where I have ended a game or just prevented a guy from 6 damage healing just because of the extra critical. So there's scenarios like that where it can happen. I feel a lot of people... I've watched a lot of videos and people tend to hate on crits for some reason, or just look down on them. And yeah, they're not as good as draws, I agree there, and it's not like... But here's the thing, like, it's not like, if you run crits, it doesn't mean you don't run draws. I don't know where that idea came from. Like, almost all my decks are either 9 draw, or they're like some combination of crits and draws. And I rarely ever run stands, but like stands can work in like Garmor, and OTT, but even in OTT it's kind of situational. I still kind of think crits are better. I mean, unless you're relying on Silent Tom, and you can, but you know, sometimes you can just push them to 5 early with the crit, and then just swing with Silent Tom as your first attack, and if they don't have a 6 damage shield, that's the end for them. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of the deck profile on Dimension Police. I definitely think it's a tier 2 deck overall. I played it a ton, like when set 2 and 3 first came out, but then I switched to Risers and Bermuda Triangle, and I haven't really played it that much since, but it's still really fun, mainly because of the 4 Laurel. Laurel just makes the deck fun. So let me know what you guys think overall, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.